And that house up there, that was her house. And nothing from that first day I saw her, and no one that has happened to me since, has ever been as frightening and as confusing. For no person I've ever known has ever done more to make me feel more sure, more insecure, more important, and less significant. That was back when summer seemed forever.
I wish somebody would invade this dopey island!
Hey, Oski, it's that lady again. Oski, you killed him. Ah!
It was one of the last summers when my best friends were the ones I fought the most.
Joe!
A date was the girl we met in the balcony.
It's a medical journal. Why should they lie?
They take pictures like that.
No, they must have special cameras.
Come on, what drugstores would develop them? If we took film like that to Old Man Sanders, we'd be put in reform school.
Well, I guess they developed them themselves.
When the most astonishing facts
I guess that's what they do.
were common knowledge.
Oh, Hermie, hi.
And then that one woman made it all simple.
Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to another movie review. And this review is going to be on Summer of 42, which was released in 1971. And the film stars Gary Grimes, Jennifer O'Neill, Jerry Hauser, and Oliver Conan. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. And the film was directed by Robert Mulligan, who directed the classic masterpiece To Kill a Mockingbird, which is one of my favorites. Everybody knows To Kill a Mockingbird. He also directed The Other, which I enjoyed that film as well, and I reviewed it. I also reviewed To Kill a Mockingbird as well. So if you haven't seen my reviews of those two films, look back at my videos and check them out. But the film was written by Herman Raucher, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, but he ended up writing a novelization of this film, and the novelization came out prior to the film, and the book became a bestseller, and they did that to make the audience seeing the film, lose sight of the fact that the book was an adaptation of the film. And when the film came out in April of 1971, it was a success at the box office. And it was nominated for 4 Academy Awards. It won for Best Original Score for Michel Legrand. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. But was nominated for Best Original Screenplay from Herman Raucher, Best Cinematography by Robert Surtees, and Best Film Editing by Fulmar Blankstead. And I watched the film last night, and I loved it. I really enjoyed this film, and the tone of the film set in 1942, it really shows, the time period that it's set in. And I thought it was really great, directed by Robert Mulligan. And basically what the film is about is it's set in the summer of 1942, and World War II, was still taking place. And it follows these three friends. You have Hermie, who was played by Gary Grimes. And you have his friends, Ossie, who was played by Jerry Hauser, and Benji, played by Oliver Conan. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. And this is set in Nantucket. And they're always, hanging out on the beach. And Gary Grimes' character ends up seeing this girl, who we later find out in the film is named Dorothy, who was played by Jennifer O'Neill. And she has a husband, and her husband ends up going to fight in World War II. So pretty much basically Ossie and Benji, pretty much Ossie, tells Hermie, go talk to that girl. Go talk to Jennifer O'Neill's character. So pretty much, Hermie and Ossie and Benji, they attempt to, get girls, their own age. And Hermie slowly befriends Dorothy, and they get to know each other, and they become friends. And, later on in the film, we find out, what happened with Dorothy's husband, and her and Hermie's lives, changed forever. And pretty much that's basically what the plot to the film is about. But I thought Gary Grimes as Hermie, I thought he did a very good job, very likable character. And Gary Grimes, he hasn't done, a whole lot of films, after this. I mean, he did maybe like 5 films, and then he retired in 1991. I mean, he was in this film called Cahill, U.S. Marshal, which was alongside John Wayne. And he also did an episode of The Brady Bunch. He was also in that Disney film Gus. So, he didn't go on to have, a good career, after this film. This film, put him on the map, and this was his feature film debut. But he did a really good job as Hermie. Jerry Hauser as Ossie, he's a very sleaze-ballish character, and at points, he's being an asshole to Gary Grimes' character Hermie, which we see. Benji, who is played by Oliver Conan, he is a very nerdy guy, and he just is hanging out with Gary Grimes' character and Jerry Hauser's character. But I also thought that Jennifer O'Neill as Dorothy, thought she did a fine job. She was a model, and she's also a of course a former actress, and this was her motion picture debut. This was her breakthrough role, and of course she was the spokesperson for CoverGirl that she began in 1963, and she's been in a lot of films after this film. She was in Scanners, directed by David Cronenberg, and she was also in other films like I Love New York, and also Glass Houses. But this was, pretty much, her breakout role here. The film that, she's known for. But I really enjoyed the story to the film. I thought it was, good, very interesting. And I like how Jennifer O'Neill's character, Dorothy's house, is, pretty much, over the beach. So, like, the house is, like, right here, and you go down and the beach is right there. Thought that was a pretty cool set-in for it. And, there are the scenes where, pretty much all three guys, they are obsessed with, the act of sex. And, there's a scene where they end up going to the movies, and Ossie ends up, saying to Gary Grimes' character, "Oh, take out this, go out with this girl, and I'll get this blonde girl, and, we'll go and see this movie together." Of course, everything, works out for Gary Grimes' character, and we see Jerry House's character, with the girl that, he's going, when they're at the movies, she's very, like, uncomfortable. She's, hit him. She's like, "Stop." So, but Gary Grimes' character had, a more, successful, thing with the girl there in that scene at the movies. But, he really, really is into Jennifer O'Neill's character, Dorothy, because he ends up walking down the street, and Jennifer O'Neill's character is carrying all these groceries, and she ended up dropping them because so many groceries that she was carrying. So Gary Grimes goes and helps her, and he helps her all the way to her house, and they get to know each other a little bit. So, but overall, Summer of '42, very good movie. Really loved it. Great cinematography, especially the scenes shot, on the beach. Thought were pretty cool. The story was interesting. It's a coming-of-age film, so, you all could probably relate to this film. Robert Mulligan also narrates adult Hermie, which is cool, but, he goes uncredited. Robert Mulligan goes uncredited with him being the voiceover for the older Hermie. But overall, check out Summer of '42. Very good movie, and you all will like it. And they did do a sequel to this film called Class of '44, which I heard wasn't that great of a film. But, check out this film. Very good movie. A little bit of trivia here. It was the film where memoirs written by Herman Raucher. They detailed the events in his life over the course of the summer he spent on Nantucket Island in 1942. So, the Hermie character is pretty much basically Herman Raucher, his time in that summer of '42. And, he ended up seeing this woman named Dorothy, and, just, got to know this girl, and, pretty much, what we see with Hermie's character, with Gary Grimes' character in this film. And what cast in the role of Dorothy, Warner Bros. Declined to audition any actresses younger than the age of 30. Jennifer O'Neill's agent, who had developed the fondness for the script, convinced the studio to audition his client, who was only 22 at the time. O'Neill auditioned for the role, albeit hesitantly not wanting to perform any nude scenes. Jennifer O'Neill got the role, and Robert Mulligan agreed to find a way to make the film work without blatant nudities, because there's a scene later on where, after, Dorothy, spoiler, Dorothy's, husband dies, Hermie, Gary Grimes' character, goes to the house, and he sees, like the turntable music, not playing anything, beer bottle on the table, smoke, cigarettes in the ashtray, and, Dorothy's just, very emotional about the news because Gary Grimes' character ends up seeing the note on the table, and so pretty much, basically, they end up, having sex. Hermie and Dorothy. So that's what I said here. About Robert Mulligan find a way to make the film work without blatant nudity, because O'Neill didn't want to perform any nude scenes, which that's fine. I mean, it's a PG movie anyway. The film became a blockbuster upon its release. It grossed over $32 million, making it one of the most successful films of 1971. So it did very good at the box office. But check out Summer of 42. Very good movie. But anyway, that's it for my review of Summer of 42. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and be sure to check me out on my buddy Luke Ponto's channel tonight at 8 o'clock as we do episode 11 of The Movie Fanatics. So tune in 8 o'clock Eastern on my buddy Luke Ponto's channel as we do the movie news and such. And also, be sure to check out tomorrow. We're doing the Bell Call podcast, me and my buddy Noah Kaser. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. And until then, I'll see you all later.